Have you ever wondered how it is that former CIA analyst Sarah Adams knows almost exactly how many suspected Al-Qaeda are here in America? Well, I'm here to provide some additional information, details, and insights. Why Sarah Adams doesn't provide this information, I'm not quite sure. I'll let you be the judge. For this post, we're going to go all the way back to the 80s and a character by the name of Omar Abdul-Rahman, the Blind Sheik. Side note, Chad Robichaux is now on TikTok. I don't know how long this has been, but the account I'm tagging only has about 10,000 followers. And if it's the real Chad Robichaux, which it appears to be, he needs to have followers in the hundreds of thousands. And preface or caveat, Chad, I'm gonna make a longer post next week using about a 5-minute clip that I saw on your Instagram. I'm the one that left that comment. If you saw it, I'm gonna take about 4 things that Sarah Adams said during an interview you had with her over a year ago, and I'm going to provide additional insights. And the preface or caveat is that I don't want you guys to think that I'm coming at you or her or necessarily the CIA, but as a fellow Christian, I think you would agree that the American people deserve the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as much as we can provide. Getting into the details, our story begins again in the 1980s when the CIA, and that's Central Intelligence Agency, not Christians in Action, were conducting Operation Cyclone and facilitating a bunch of Arab Mujahideens travel into Afghanistan to basically fight against the Soviets at that time while we still had the Cold War going on. And this figure right here, Omar Abdul-Rahman, aka the Blind Sheik, ended up being a key figure and hot brand cleric at a mosque in Brooklyn called El Farouk Mosque. This is El Farouk Mosque in Brooklyn. It's there to this day, but around the corner, I believe it was, or very nearby, was also El Kifa Refugee Center. And the CIA was reportedly operating a facilitation operation for actually foreign Arab jihadis to come in here and be organized, trained, and their travel was facilitated into primarily Karachi, then Quetta, and then Afghanistan. Operation Cyclone ended up being a global effort. Britain's MI6 provided similar facilitation at this place called the Finsbury Park Mosque. The firebrand cleric there, that is nearly a mirror of Omar Abdul-Rahman, was Abu Hamza al-Musri. You can see he's also got one eye out and is missing a hand. He bragged to everybody that he was jumping on a landmine or something like that while he was in Afghanistan, but later reports came out from CIA and other infiltrators of Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan that it was actually just some type of training ground accident. Here's where we'll have to go back to the Wayback Machine to find this late September 2001 article from Newsweek titled War on Terror, The Road to September 11, in which we'll see these details. In the 1980s, the CIA secretly backed the Mujahideen, the Islamic freedom fighters rebelling against the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan. Arming and training the Muj was one of the most successful covert actions ever mounted by the CIA. It turned the tide against the Soviet invaders, but there is a word used by old CIA hands to describe covert actions that backfire: blowback. El Kifa Refugee Center doubled as a recruiting post for the CIA seeking to steer fresh troops to the Mujahideen. The new immigrants were filled not with gratitude toward their new nation, but by implacable hatred toward America, symbol of Western modernity that threatened to engulf Muslim fundamentalism in a tide of blue jeans and Hollywood videos. Newsweek has learned that the FBI has privately estimated that more than 1,000 individuals, most of them foreign nationals with suspected terrorist ties, are currently living in the United States. Here's a piece that's critical for fuller or better understanding. Sarah Adams has said words to the effect of about 1,000 or more in multiple interviews, and that information has been public knowledge for over 20 years. And it's already been put out to the public that the CIA facilitated the travel into America of 1,000 or more of these individuals that the FBI tracked. And what's really important to understand is that pre 9/11, the CIA wouldn't share additional intelligence even with FBI personnel attached to Alex Station. But after 9/11, CIA personnel came out of the woodwork, writing books, making appearances on CNN, and in the last several years, you've seen them come out more and more and more on social media and podcasts, telling you things that have been public knowledge and people in the intelligence community certainly have known for over 20 years. In upcoming posts, I'll provide additional information that I'm aware of that's public knowledge regarding catastrophic intelligence failures post 9/11, like Kal Ajangi, Fob Chapman, and Benghazi. I'm going to roll all of this up in about a 10 to 15 minute YouTube video, and at the end of that, we're going to ask the question, if a significant coordinated attack occurs in the United States, is it an intelligence failure because the CIA and FBI are incompetent, or is something else maybe going on? And in order to better answer that question, we're going to have to synthesize a bunch of additional well-documented information about CIA operations.